Hi everyone, welcome to BurgBoys. I'm Max,
I'm Terence.
and this is your weekly dive into the most interesting news with our reaction and take on what's happening.
So Max, been some time, huh?
It's been like 3 months now.
Yeah, basically we went
The last one was the
Q1,
reflections.
so the entire Q1 we have not done any podcast.
It was a 12-week gap.
And then you dropped a shocking news lately.
Which is?
Do you want to tell?
So yeah, sure, I don't mind telling. So basically I quit from my current role. I actually tendered around 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, maybe I mean, I think it's a good time also. Maybe tell the audience a bit about your role. Like, what are you doing? Don't have to share the firm, but
yeah,
can
so
what's your job? What's your role?
I guess for the old viewers, they will know that we're strategy consultants, right? So basically, what we do is we support C-suite, support management on a range of different activities on basically commercial questions, right? Like who should we partner, go to market, how do we cut costs, how do we grow top line, and etc. The wide variety for us lah. So that's basically what we do. But at my level specifically, I would say we're just more of like a PowerPoint monkey, you know what I'm saying? Or like do Excel and stuff, which I'm not very good at, I would say, but and yeah.
Don't say that. I think you have progressed through the firm in the last couple of years. I think you have done reasonably okay.
Yeah,
I think probably it's worthwhile to maybe you can shed some light in terms of the motivating factor for making this move. But I think maybe share first, like why are you suddenly leaving? What's the mind frame around that decision?
Yeah, I think good question also, because I think as part of the reflections, right, when we talked about career, to give a recap, what I said for myself was let me try to reorientate and try to kind of excel or at least perform at a level that's acceptable for firm-wide evaluations or whatever. I realized that was hard and near impossible for me. In a sense where I sit down at a table, right? I sit down and do my work. I'm given a task. I find it extremely difficult for me to at least even be consistent in my work and just be at a certain level of output that other people will be okay with also. So I came back, I only had one full project to be honest, and then like I didn't do well in that one also, I think. I mean, that was a self-evaluation on my part. I just didn't see myself being able to get back into the same mind state lah. And I think maybe that's a product of the past 3 years or maybe the initial first 2 years of a lot of hard work and everything.
Yeah.
That caused me not to be, I mean, I don't know, maybe internally I'm craving for a bit of rest. But I want to also, like, just to caveat, right, that this wasn't like a impulsive decision. I think this is something that has been 4-5 months in the planning. And it's just that I didn't jump on this just because of that one project I didn't do. I've been thinking about this since last year, like July, August.
Yeah, maybe I think what's worthwhile to talk to the audience, right? Because perhaps, there are people who always have a rose-tinted lens on what consulting is. Perhaps it's worthwhile to share some of your experience. You mentioned that there's a dip in motivation, right? Why is it because the work is now less meaningful to you? I think just worthwhile to shed some light in terms of what caused the dip in motivation, essentially. Like the actual output, you said the work suddenly you feel less motivating, right?
Yeah, that's one of the reasons.
What part of the job? Is it because, like you said, that you're just doing PowerPoints all the time, or?
I think in terms of the work itself, right? I mean, if I had to break it up into 3 main reasons, I think number 1, the work itself. Number 2, some of the leadership I worked with. And number 3 is also a more personal reason, like what do I want for myself? So if I just focus on the work itself, right, when you first join, you'll be very excited because it's like, look, you're working with companies you've heard of and then you guys are trying to create strategies for them, blah, blah, blah. It's extremely enticing. But over time, you realize, right, that a lot of this work is kind of repeatable. It's more of like cookie cutter kind of outputs, right? And at the end of the day, you create a 200-page deck. I don't even think the management reads more than, they will flip it at most once. And then maybe perhaps for someone like me, I wanted a bit more transparency in my impact, or at least the impact of the team they made.
So basically, you want to own something end to end.
Something like that.
Take it from basically right now, what happens is that a lot of times, we are there for the strategy phase.
Correct.
Not necessarily executing. So you want to find a role that allows you more ownership, and then maybe you feel more motivated because you are seeing things through, basically.
Correct. And funny enough, as I go for my interviews now with people that were strategy consultants or even people that have been in touch with a few, there's a very big distinction between what you kind of create in theory versus what is actually on the ground. And given how fast this world is changing also with AI and all these other kind of data centers, all this kind of stuff, I think, the gap between what is applicable and what is just nice sounding on paper is growing further and further also lah.
Okay.
Yeah, but just to quickly go through also my second and third reason. I guess second reason, leadership also. I think I become a bit jaded also because of unclear and of terrible leadership. If I could count back the amount of times the team had to work late, I would honestly say that a big percentage of it is due to just lack of direction, lack of clarity on what is the end state or the end output that's needed, right? And I think in every job, having a good leader is more important. I think it's even more clear in consulting. Working with a good project manager will just make or break your day, to be very honest. And obviously they are difficult clients, but I'm saying that how they manage that as well is also a huge thing because that trickles down to you lah.
Well, as I'm still in the firm, I have no comments to his current
Please do not say it.
his current position.
And then,
but
sorry.
I think what's worthwhile, I mean, of course, I think beyond this, right? I think what about any sort of advice to people who want to enter this industry? Like, I mean, okay, you have joined consulting for 3.5 years, coming up to 4 years now.
Yeah.
Right, so it's been some time that you've been in this industry as well,
correct,
right?
Correct.
And you've also progressed through the firm as well. What would you have changed anything? Because I think it gives you a good toolkit as well.
Very strong toolkit. I think it's a very good fundamentals, yeah.
Yeah, but what's your advice for graduates wanting to jump into this industry?
Actually, that ties into the third reason also, because I think since last year, I've been the personal reason for me was thinking a lot about what do I want out of this, right? And to me, honestly, I don't see myself as someone that is able to just perform at this level, right? Okay, I think let's put it very bluntly, right? For graduates entering consulting or trying to make a career in consulting long term, think about it this way. As a junior, you need to answer to your senior consultants, your PMs. As a senior consultant, PMs need to answer to your principals. The principal need to answer to the partner. At the end of the day, who do they all answer to? The client. So if you kind of want to be in a role like that, and I'm sure it's same in other jobs as well, but my point is the hierarchy, right? Don't let people fool you. The hierarchy is extremely strong in consulting, I think, relative to perhaps other roles out there, maybe in sales or maybe even in other ops roles. That kind of pressure, top-down pressure is very accentuated here lah. So I think as a junior, if you want opportunity to explore, you won't find it here. But if you want to have opportunity to gain exposure, a solid skill set in terms of analysis and how maybe a bit of like first principles thinking about things, great start, right? But I don't think it's I mean, if you want to do it long term, that's another question for yourself you have to answer.
Correct. Are there any other positives? I mean, of course, noted. I think a big part of this you exiting is also down to really you wanting to you see your long-term career being different.
Yes.
And this move would have happened anyway.
Correct.
Even not this year, but I believe, to be honest, I think based on a lot of private conversations we had, it's something that's within 24 months anyway.
Yep.
It's just I think a lot of what transpired accelerated that decision, because I think you clearly, you aspirationally, you want to do something different.
Yeah.
But perhaps are there any other positives you think that there are there from this entire that you think can take to your next role? And if also perhaps also maybe worthwhile to share, what kind of next roles are you interested in as well?
Yeah, I think positives wise, right? And I don't know if people feel the same way, but I think going through a tough project with people that are your age and your peers, it's a huge thing. I think like going through that, it builds a sense of camaraderie, right? But don't mistake this for friendship or closeness. But it is nice to go through. It's a like a badge of honor you carry. Like, oh, I went through this, and it's quite nice to have it, to know that you survived this. But nothing to be proud about. It's just part and parcel of the job, which is nice, I think. But then also, what else is nice is, I would say certain perks like the traveling, but it gets tired after a while also. Like you wouldn't want to be in air half the time also. You want to spend time with your loved ones, your family. Yeah, so there are a lot of perks, but these perks become less attractive over time. That's just how I view it lah. And they're not things that are very like help you to pull you to stay also, to be frank.
Yeah. I think there's more positive. I think it's probably something maybe not direct, maybe observable now in this market. There are actually a lot of like industry roles that are looking for ex-consultants as well, which I think you qualify for those opportunities just because you started your career here. So,
correct.
But any shout outs to employers?
Yeah, what kind of roles are you looking for, right?
Yeah.
So for me, primarily, I'm looking into a lot of sales roles. Sales. So three buckets, right? I think number one, it's sales roles, right? SDRs, BDs, and then number two is more crypto. So a lot of interviewers have most of my interviews have grinded me about my crypto thesis and stuff. that's another topic. Then last but not least, I'm happy to go inside something more corporate development, partnerships, something at least
client-facing.
Client-facing, correct,
Yeah,
correct,
yeah.
correct. So that third bucket is a bit vague, but the first two are very clear for me.
Yeah, I think sales, you'll be perfect for sales, to be honest. I think your personality.
I've been thinking, I've been applying heavily for those. So
Yeah.
yeah.
But I think it's also quite critical to take a break as well. I think while you conclude this part of the journey, it's also like mentally reset, and so that when you start the next place, you can give your 100%.
Correct,
as well.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think also, if I take this break and I just grind myself out by applying for jobs and everything, I think there's a fine line between being responsible and being overdoing it. Then, then I just, why I take the break in the first place, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so.
Okay, so any other things that you want, any final last words on this leaving the current role?
Yeah, I can't ask Terence back the same questions because obviously he's still here, but I would reckon people to, I think a lot of times, they see the climate and everything, they get a bit scared. But I always believe that opportunities are out there. Like I think Terence can validate that I've been spending a lot of time reaching out to people, applying, and I have a decent pipeline, right? I mean, I don't get success rate maybe not very high, but...
You know what would be really good?
What?
You want really good? Is once you land your role, you can talk through how you proactively searched. Because I think you have quite an interesting way of going about your hunt, right? You're not very reactive, but you put in an application and then you pray to God, right? You actually have quite a proactive hunt.
Yeah.
But I think perhaps that's more worthwhile once you finalize everything.
Yeah, once I finalize the current processes. But yeah, sure, that sounds good. Yeah, but I just think like for people mentally, don't be too taken aback or scared. Just if you know some place is better, think about your career or your life even as a marathon. It's not a sprint.
Yeah, I mean, I think beyond just career and things like that, I mean, a big part of your life now also is you're dating someone new, so that's taken a lot of focus. I see the smile, suddenly a smile on her face.
This one's very serious. Yeah. So this one's very different also, but that's not a part of the topic.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
So shall we go to the next topic?
Yes, next one.
We are done with the...
I think we have it, yeah.
So, I mean, we've seen the last few weeks, 3 weeks coming to 4 weeks already.
Yeah.
The Iran crisis.
The Iran crisis, yes.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it hits everyone's portfolio. It's been painful, I'm sure. Whatever asset you own has been down, depending on obviously what asset class you hold. What do you think about the crisis?
I think the first my first reaction is I think people underestimated the impact of this on Southeast Asia, just because proximity geographically is so far away. But maybe you can share also a bit like, how do you see this perhaps playing out in the next next 3 months, 3 weeks, 3 months? How do you see this kind of developing over the next few periods?
So I think it's the way the mental model for me when it comes to this is, I think it's very hard to project what's going to happen in the next 3 to 4 weeks, right? We could be in a situation where things get dragged out. Scenario 1, very long, where the Strait of Hormuz and all the other, the oil crisis still continue, right? Then obviously that will be troubling for global markets, at least in the short term. The second scenario is that, Trump pulls out completely, right? And then everything's back to the stock market, obviously rebounds, or the war escalates even further, right? There are more people there are more extremist groups. We see the Houthis joining in also, and then it completely escalates this, then there will be disaster. But I think fundamentally, scenario 1, 2, 3, to me, what's consistent is the 5-year horizon, 10-year horizon, my mind hasn't changed. Thematically, 5 years later, I think AI will still be important, right? I think, do we believe that the index will be higher than it will be today, 5 years from now, 10 years from now? I think
probably
the answer will be yes. So I think I take it as an opportunity to buy into quality assets that are discounted. And of course, would it go lower, or depending on scenario 1, 2, 3, would it go even lower potentially? But I see it as I'll continue nibbling in and position myself, because ultimately we are investing for the long run, right?
Correct.
It's just an opportunity to buy discounted quality assets. Basically.
Agree. Yeah. I think the mental model is like, if your view is long enough, then just stick it out, like, you know what I'm saying? Treat this as a time to buy discounted quality assets that you have your own view and belief in also.
Correct. So, but now, in terms of the decisions, what are the, for you, I'm sure you're buying things as well.
Yep,
So,
still buying.
what are the dislocated high quality assets that you are looking at adding to your portfolio in this time of crisis?
I think right now still the top player for me is still Ethereum. 100% still Ethereum.
So you're still doubling down on crypto, basically.
Still doubling down on crypto. I just feel even right now with the current developments, it's even more powerful. So I think the most recent one, if people have been, the one I've seen at least, is the cryptography paper that came out. Basically, the idea is by 2029, long story short, 2029,
quantum, basically,
the quantum can
disrupt.
crack the proof of work, whereas obviously Ethereum is proof of stake. That's a high level reasoning, which I think you don't even delve too deep. But the idea is that I've always seen that Ethereum has been preparing for quantum since 6 years ago even. That's been a roadmap, right? And I think that's highly indicative of its defensibility moving forward, right? The idea of, nobody thought Bitcoin would be a reserve asset until it was. So it could be the same for Ethereum. And obviously the stablecoin developments, right, huge as well. I believe tokenization is going to happen first. Tokenized market is going to happen first still, continue to happen to US Treasury. Increase liquidity to US Treasury, anybody can buy it. You know, this is just going to be a dominoes fall after this tokenization happens as well. So one of the biggest trends. So I'm still a big believer in Ethereum. Still going to be the underlying infrastructure for all of this.
Yep.
And I see massive gains lah.
I actually bought a bit, but just a tiny bit.
Yeah.
But for myself, honestly, I've been quite busy working. You know, right? In the last 3 months, so. I've actually been investing weekly into the index. So World Index, S&P 500, simple. Just because I just don't have the time to
figure out where is the alpha at.
Yeah. I mean, there are honestly a lot of alpha if you go into some of the tech names. But given I've already exposure, so and I bought it quite some time back also, so I thought I would like to increase my index exposure. I've always wanted to increase my index exposure because fundamentally I'm a stock picker.
Correct.
But I think that it's good to sort of have an index strategy pivot to more of an index strategy as well.
Agree. Yeah. Especially in times like this, you can sleep better also, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean...
Slightly, relatively better.
Yeah, because I mean, obviously the index goes down 2%, the tech stocks go down 5%.
Yeah.
So,
the crypto goes down 15.
Yeah, actually, to be fair, Ethereum has been holding the line.
Has been holding very strong. So, yeah. I think people start to realize also that Ethereum's use case is formalizing in the way that they didn't think about it also. You know, people used to say, back then in crypto, 2020 DeFi time, they keep saying the use case is more people trading on the DeFi platforms, right? But they realized that that's not true because how many high frequency DeFi traders are there? If you see the number of wallets, if I recall, it's actually dropping tremendously, like 80% drop.
So what I'm hearing is that this Iranian crisis doesn't really change our long-term view in terms of like whether the market's going to go up, because there's a view out there today that the world might go into stagflation, right? So what stagflation means is that, you know, there could be inflation with very little growth, essentially, right? And there's a repercussion from global market standpoint, so because it will be repriced. So our fundamental belief is that this is just a passing cloud, and fundamentally 10 years later, it will all be good and rosy. We'll all be having a bag.
Correct. Yeah, I think that's still the way to think about it. You know, you think I don't Amazon's still gonna work? Yeah.
Yeah, but to me, the way I see it, there's one reason as well. I think. Well, I believe that the world has reached a point whereby they cannot stop printing money. I believe that the money supply is going to keep increasing. I don't see that reversing. You know, even if you look at the Trump administration saying that they're going to cut the debt, the US debt, it keeps growing. Now it's 39 trillion, and I believe it's going to grow. And hence, the only way forward to pay for all the global debt is really through devaluing the currency.
Just printing more.
So it's almost impossible to not have asset inflation. And the best hedge is high quality assets, in my view. And hence, correlating that, I do think that you know, the long term is still intact.
Fair.
Is my view. And it's just, I guess, to many people, the debate is what do we deem as high quality assets?
Correct. That's a variation in analysis from there.
Yeah. But I still do believe cash is trash.
Always.
That's a fundamental view, regardless of what asset class you prefer.
Yeah.
Though that being said, a big caveat here is Max is 90% crypto.
Yeah, my allocation has been changing a bit ever since. Obviously, that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, if those people that hold Ethereum and stuff, Solana, so even Solana, just take them, wait it out. Yeah, it's gonna, yeah.
Okay, any final words?
No, I think just overall good to be back. That's number one, right?
Yeah,
and then
of
also
course.
I hope people, they stay strong in these tough times. Because I think obviously it's not easy also. Like,
To look at the portfolio, I see it decline.
Yeah. I think it's not easy also. I think it's not easy for us also. Then but I think mainly just maintain a good mental model for it.
Yeah.
And then talk to your close friends, But also sometimes, instead of focusing so much, go out and
correct.
touch some grass,
But I can see why. I mean,
outside.
for some people, it will be quite mentally draining.
100%.
I mean, of course, you see your portfolio down a significant amount. It's not easy, especially if it's a
No.
big chunk of your life savings.
Correct.
And also if they have job situation challenges as well, right? I mean, thankfully, our industry haven't seen layoffs. But I know that if you're working in some of the high growth tech sector, they've seen
It's
a lot of layoffs, right? Just from the news, of course.
Jack Dorsey's one. He cut off. He was so profitable, and he cut off another 10K. I don't know.
Amazon and Meta are forever cutting.
Yeah.
So I mean, the climate certainly not very encouraging, I guess.
Actually, on that note, right, something we can explore for next episode also. I think creator economies, being a creator, given the advance of AI, Seedance 2.0 or this, I think it's a potential market people can tap into.
I always thought you could do OnlyFans.
I might lah. AI myself.
You can contemplate that for your next job.
I put a link
founder
at the.
passed away.
Yes.
It's crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Life is just spend time with your loved ones.
I'm sure there's a lot of conspiracy theory on this. I wouldn't be surprised.
True.
Yeah. But okay, I think that's all.
That's all for this
hopefully we can
episode.
do a new episode soon.
Sometime this week lah.
Yeah, next week
Yeah.
maybe.
Okay, next week also can. Yeah.
All right.
Take care, guys. Bye.
Bye.